Respected Geeta ma'am and my dear fellow Jayantians, we the students from School of Management, Kristu Jayanti are here to throw light on the topic, the 2004 tsunami. Now let's talk about what a tsunami is. It is a destructive surge of water that are caused by earthquakes or landslide or any other destructive happenings of the tectonic plate boundaries. Generally, these happen, 85% of the tsunamis happen at the Pacific Ocean, whereas the 2004 tsunami happened at the Indian Ocean. Now, major destructions occurred in coastal provinces of Sri Lanka, Tamil Nadu, and Thailand. Banda Aceh in Indonesia reported the largest number of deaths. It was the longest duration of faulting ever observed between 8 to 10 minutes. Now let's go to the facts and figures. Around 2,30,000 people were killed globally, and coming to India, it killed 15,000 people. And the tsunami hit 14 different countries and traveled 5,000 kilometers. Danda AC in Indonesia was the worst hit, and in the history, it was the third most deadliest quake in the entire nation. And it measured 9.1 magnitude on the Richter scale. Now, moving on to the global impact.
Okay, so the global impact were very, as the facts just showed, it was really enormous. And since the tsunami happened in a very sudden manner, there was a lot of economic loss and financial loss. There were a lot of damage of property. So many people lost their lives. 225,000 people across 14 different countries lost their lives, and Indonesia, Sri Lanka, India, Maldives, and Thailand were some of the main affected countries because of this.
Did we lose Brawny? I think he's back.
Okay. So continuing, particularly in North Sumatra province, the most damaged, affected, and area in connection to the coastal line in Indonesia. Within 30 minutes after the movements of the tectonic plates, within 30 minutes, there were three huge waves that washed across the shores of these different 14 countries. So many people lost. So many businesses were affected, and there were a lot of loss of life. Many lost properties. The waves, according to the statistics, shows that the waves were as high as 30 feet in some areas. These were many effects that were caused because of the flood that occurred in the year of 2004. Now, moving on to tsunami in the Indian coastal regions.
Okay, I'll be talking about tsunamis in Indian coastal. Tsunamis are frequently referred to as a tidal waves because they are mimic fast rising tides, but scientists are avoiding using this term since the tides are created by the gravitational pull of sun and moon. And a tremendous earthquake on the third largest earthquake were recorded is the seismograph triggered of tsunamis of 2004. It has a magnitude of around 9.1 to 9.3 on the Richter scale. It is caused multiple aftershocks that lasted for 3 to 4 months following the initial events. As a result of seismic activities, as a tremendous quantity of energies were released, the Earth is supposed to have wobbed slightly on its axis. Due to this closeness, Indonesia was the first nation to struck by the tsunami. It also witnessed the highest number of casualties, or about 1,70 people were died also. Tsunamis haven't struck by the Indian coastal areas for a long time. The government has different, as per government details, these are the some cities, Puri, Kakinada, Thoothukudi, Alapura, Chavara, Kochi are the some of few cities affected by this 2004 tsunami. And on 2006, 1941, an earthquake of magnitude of 7.7 to 8.1 Richter scale on Andaman's Island, and the tsunami struck the states of Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu on the Indian mainland's southern coast roughly 2 hours after the earthquake in 2004. At the same time, it is landed at the Kerala, a state of India's southwest coast. In some regions, 2 to 5 tsunamis hit at the same time at the local high tides. This quake caused the Indian Ocean tsunamis of 2004, which reached out of across the India, devastating coastal areas, and which faced the places more than hit in shorelines. As we can see, there is also a map shown. These are the tsunamis happened in India, so which happened in India. Next, talking about impacts of tsunamis in India. Thank you.
Okay. I'm talking about how tsunami in 2004 causes impacts around the regions of India. There was millions of people and many animals were killed, and there was a severe threat of disease due to the mixing of fresh water, sewage, and salt water, and it causes many diseases, and 1.7 million people were left homeless. 2 to 5 tsunamis were coincided with the local high tides were swept across many regions in India, and it was the tsunami 2004 was severely affected around in the regions of Tamil Nadu, mainly near the areas of Marina Beach in Chennai, and it swept across the regions of beach. And Pondicherry was severely affected, and the worst affected region was the Nagapattinam district in Tamil Nadu with 5 meter of tsunami, and it causes great damage in the regions of Nagapattinam. And the famous Christian pilgrimage destination known as Velanganni was severely affected by the tsunami that causes millions of people were killed, and around 9:30 a.m. on Sunday. And in Kerala, 3 southern densely populated districts were damaged, mainly Ernakulam, Alappuzha, and Kollam, due to the distraction of the waves around Sri Lanka. There was a lack of food, clean water, and medical treatment in the regions of India when the tsunami was struck, and many relief workers were tried to supply essentials to the people which was struck by the tsunami, and severe long-term environmental damage caused in the villages, tourist areas and farmlands. There causes many economic and environmental impacts. The mainly economic impacts were there was a loss in many ports were ruined, and the fishing industry were devastated, and there was a huge loss of earnings from the tourist industries. And the environmental impacts were mainly the crops were ruined, and a major area of mangrove forests were destroyed. Next slide. Okay. It affected also the different species around the Indian regions, and the Many animals were left injured or starved and stranded, and they tried to fled to higher grounds before the water was dry. Very few animals were killed because they can the tremor of they can feel the tremor before the humans can feel, and they flew to higher grounds to be safe from the disaster. There was a 60 to 70% of mangrove cover loss, and the study reveals that around 97% of the mangrove cover was destroyed by the tsunami, and it was destroyed by the tsunami event. Thank you.
Thomas, you are muted.
Talking about the recovery after tsunami. As people have lost their homes due to this, several measures were taken to build homes for them. In order to support people, new business were created for them. Even access to clean drinking water was made sure for the victims. Government also made sure that none of the victims should suffer and gave employment to the people. Next slide. Core group of reconstruction has been created under the Planning Commission, which caters for rehabilitation and reconstruction of affected areas. And this include the building of permanent houses, which is like multi-hazard proof and constructed with appropriate regulations. Next slide. In order to avoid such a calamity in the near future, several measures were taken. Before the tsunami hit the coast of India, the country did not have any system to give a warning about the tsunami disaster. But after the disaster, the government set up a tsunami early warning system. And India eventually became the first country to establish such a warning system. Awareness has been given to the people. For instance, once the warning is given by the new warning system in place, the people in an area will willingly evacuate. Earlier, this was not the scene. Previously, government simply called in the armed forces after a disaster. But now, though, with this new structure in place, roles are more well defined. Moreover, these agencies have specialized training and equipment, which makes them especially suited for the job. Thank you.
Talking about emergency and response state taken by the state and the country, the government of India immediately came to the affected states, launched relief and rescue operation which has never been taken in the past. The government of India released rupees 700 crores for carrying out immediate relief and response to the affected states and union territories. Almost 2 aircraft for survey and relief were transported within 1 hour of the information being received. The immediate inspection of the tsunami affected area was undertaken for impact assessment, and Government of India and immediate relief and response were also taken. Massive search and rescue operations were launched with the help of armed force. These were supported by the Central Paramilitary Forces and the two medical first responders, especially trained teams of military of home affairs. The emergency support function were also provided by other line administration department of the government of India, like telecommunications, power, road transportation, and highway, shipping, etc. Arrangement were made for goods, food like food, drinking water, clothing, sanitization, and medical assistance in the relief camp. Thank you.